I'm your host, as usual, Johnny Smith. Today, we're going to be going back to Cocaine Shane Part 2. Very interesting interview. Guy had a lot of stuff to say. Hope you enjoy it. All right, we're back with Part 2. Shane, welcome to the program. How you doing today, brother?
Fantastic. I'm always blessed, Johnny. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. I will say, anytime I interact with you, it's always an adventure, no matter what that leads to.
I enjoy this.
That's good. Thank you for coming on again. So, last episode, we left off with you not going over to Afghanistan and serving. So I want to just pick up right from there. What was your time in the service like? Where were you stationed? How did that play out?
Okay, I would say, so my main duty station was out in Japan, Okinawa, Camp Hansen. And then before that, it was just a large portion of training, going to school, finishing up boot camp, combat training, all that stuff. And I can't remember what day I got to Japan, but I remember the event. So,
you know what, real quick, I want to ask you, because I know they give you some type of hand-to-hand training in the service. What is it?
Okay, so Mcmap,
it's called what?
It's called Mcmap.
Okay.
MCMAP. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, Marine Corps Martial Arts Program. I think that's it. And so it's like basically it's kind of like if you had to fight somebody with 200 pounds of gear in close quarter. It gets pretty advanced where you do like some knife stuff and some bayonet stuff later on. I didn't get that far, but it's pretty fun. I mean, it feels a little ridiculous. You're out there, throwing lead jabs, and then you get a couple chokes underneath you and some hip tosses.
Is it practical in the real world?
I mean, always, yeah. I mean, it's better than nothing, for sure. And it's like it was the first formal training of martial arts that I ever had.
Okay. Any kicks involved?
Yeah. There's some, Marine Corps. They teach you how to pivot and throw up some kicks and some high knees and stuff. I used a few in some scenarios where I was like, Marine Corps, I'll give throw some knees.
So you said where, Japan?
Yeah. So I was in Japan, Okinawa, small island. It's the most crucial island, tactical island, I think, I think it's called the Ryukyu Islands, and it's also like the spring break, so it's super beautiful. Okinawa, Camp Hansen, and I can't remember what day I got in, but I remember the event. So we flew in, we went through customs, and about 12 hours after that, there were these sirens. Wow! And I was like, "What the fuck is that?" It's a lot louder than your average fire truck. And they're like, "Oh, don't worry, it's just like 17-foot waves hitting the coast because." Mainland had like a tsunami, nuclear power plant. That was the day that I landed, and it was crazy. So I remember like things started shutting down and people started kicking into high gear, trying to get everything ready to do humanitarian missions and go help everybody that was struggling.
Goddamn Godzilla!
Oh man, it was fucking wild. I mean, like one of the things I always struggled with being overseas was just like having nightmares of like, what if the satellites fall and you get stuck somewhere where you can't read the signs?
Yeah.
I was like, a box of cereal was out of this fucking world. A pack of ramen that comes with 6 ingredients, you don't know how to put it all together. You're just like, I hope they got pictures,
I dig
something.
It. Definitely.
But yeah, and I was just like, oh shit. And they shut, like, there was no communication or internet or everything kind of shut down. And I told my whole family and all my friends, I'm going to Japan. And then like all I could see is boom on the news, like, Japan got hit with some crazy shit. People were dying, blah, blah.
Well, how long were you over there?
A little over 2 years.
A little over 2 years. Mm-hmm. And how long did you serve altogether?
4-year out of 5-year contract.
Okay. So you did your time in like boot camp training and all that, and you went to Japan. Anywhere else for any significant period of time?
Nope. I did the East Coast to West Coast and then overseas for 2 years.
Now, on the 4 out of 5 years of the contract, how did that happen and how does that work? Or why did that happen?
So I want to say in 2001, I think the Marine Corps was 150,000 Marines. It's the smallest branch. There's a lot of unique things about it. Like they say, the world doesn't need a Marine Corps. They have the Army, Navy, Air Force. They want the Marines. First in, last out, never leave a Marine behind. There's a lot of pride that goes with it. And what was the question?
It was how did the 4 out of 5 years work? How'd you get out early?
Okay, so I got a $15,000 bonus for a 5-year contract. And then when I got in and I got into some trouble, in the beginning with 9/11, they bumped up from 150,000 to 350,000 for the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. And then when I was getting out, or right before I was getting out, they were downsizing. They were crushing through it. It's kind of like one of the most saddest things I ever saw, actually, where there were Marines that had 17 years in that were getting forced out because they didn't hit all of their billets. There were young Marines that were making dumb mistakes for the first time that were getting kicked out. And it turned into like this real cutthroat, dog-eat-dog type world. Like the brotherhood, the kinship, the love and protection in the family is kind of getting jaded. And it was just, it was like real nasty shit. Like when you see somebody, especially with the Marine Corps of Service, they give their whole life to this. They're ready to get out and retire. And then they kind of get a smack on the ass and, hey, thanks for having you. And they get out. It's like one of the most devastating things I ever.
Yeah, my buddy and former guest of the podcast, and while I'm at it, my co-host of Murder Estates of Mine, Dan Brady, talks about it. He goes, that was his whole life for so long. And when he was done, they were just like, all right, excuse me, sir, can you get out of the way now? And it was just I don't want to put words in his mouth, but like a loss, like a devastating feeling.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's tough. Hey, love you, Dan. Shout out, my man. Love everything that
Always
he does.
Shout out to Dan.
Hell yeah.
By the way, that fundraiser we did for the Erie Animal Network was a big success. Shout out to everybody that showed up. Shout out to everybody who helped, paid for, bought a shirt for the Erie Animal Network. We helped them out a lot. And shout out to Vicky Powers.
Congratulations. And so, no, I mean, it was, so I went through separations twice. Because like I said, the first time that I went through, I thought that I was getting kicked out. They put you through the motions. It's a mindset that you're in. And then you go through all these classes, courses, getting ready to go back to the civilian life. And then I stayed in, I fought, I won. And then I had another unfortunate event where I got out and then I overcame that, stayed in and won. And then the third time that I ran into a situation, I was kind of just looking at the politics of it and decided this isn't something that I wanted to stay in, to try to keep fighting for. I wanted to get out, get a family. It was a real complicated answer, but.
Oh, so you didn't even fight it at this point?
Yeah, no. I mean, by the third time, like I had been winning so much, and then I found, I mean, I don't know what it was, like a hypocrisy, bureaucracy, the politics of it.
All the red tape, all that bullshit.
Yeah, and so, and it was just like, it was a tough decision, but it was one that I made because I was 1 month away from PCSing, which is going to my next unit, which would have been 2nd Rad Bin, 2nd Radio Battalion in Camp Lejeune. And I had a secret clearance. I would have got a top secret. I look forward to it. It's worth a lot of money. It sounds real fancy. It's not as fancy. You don't get to see who's blowing the president.
So did you leave with an honorable discharge?
Yes. Okay. I got an honorable discharge. And then because I had 1 year left, I paid back like $2,000 from my bonus. That's how it works. And then I got out and I came back home. And then
come back to Pittsburgh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to California, discharged from Camp Pendleton, got to see some of my friends, played hooky for a week. I always run into beautiful people and then have a positive experience. And they say like, hey, look, there's the way that you should do it. And then there's this, unique path that you could take. So I got to go and hang out with all my friends because it's kind of hard to tell somebody who's getting out the Marine Corps, go pick up cigarette butts and shit. Yeah. Regardless of your rank and age, you're like, I'm fucking done. You know what I mean? Like
once you realize you're done,
order me something, and then there's even stipulations in your contract that say like, if you hit the lottery, you have to get out. Because how are you going to control somebody if money's not the object?
Okay, I never knew that.
How you going to tell them to scrub some toilets if they're like, bitch, I'll buy this base and wherever the fuck you live.
Okay. So you come back to Pittsburgh. What happens? What's next? Where do you go? What do you do?
So I got back into Pittsburgh and then
what year, by the way?
Oh, I want to say May 17th, 2013.
Okay.
And hung out with some friends, got into a little bit of trouble that got me here. Kind of stayed here because my plan was originally to go back to California. I love the beaches, the environment, pursue stand-up comedy, travel the world again, So I got into a little bit of trouble where I had to stay here, try to solve the paperwork, got out of it. And then, I just remember, like, I think I took the first year off. I got out with like $29,700, which was a lot because I was saving a lot of my money. I didn't want to get out with nothing. And then,
which is a good call.
Yeah. I mean, I came back and I blew it like a rock star. And then I think I might have collected unemployment for a little bit and then started hitting the ground running, working. And then I had my first son. And then that's just a whole wild ride in itself. And that's like really the only thing I ever really wanted to do was be a good dad. Mm-hmm. So that's like been my main focus ever since. Well, I even growing up, just the positive notes about my dad, my real dad, was he was like a dad's dad. We would go to the parks or out, and he could get all the kids and parents in the neighborhood just together and active and play. And whether it was with me or without me, and I was like, I wish you'd play with me,
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it was something that was like, so like I took that and I harnessed it and developed it. Yeah. And it's something that it's like bringing people together, because Mr. Rogers is from Pittsburgh. Won't you be my neighbor?
Yeah.
And,
yeah, he is.
And so it's like when you ask, like, who am I? And it's like, oh man, I'm just a positive person, just keeping it going. Like, I want to unite everybody. You have to, it blows my mind that we can reach the other side of the world with technology, but you don't know your neighbors.
You know what? I'm a bad example of that. I've lived where I'm at right now for 5, maybe 6 years, and I don't know any of my neighbors' names.
You better get out there with some pies and shit, Johnny. You better be like, hey, my name's Johnny, and I'm a cool dude.
If they're interested, they can listen to the podcast.
Hey, you have to introduce them.
My neighbor upstairs has been playing Call of Duty all night for the last 2 weeks, like just shooting everything. I'm like, give it a break, dude. Don't you got some PTSD?
Oh man, it's I love video games too, because video games, growing up, I played a lot. I love any type of game. I've been developing just my board games and then video games, and it sucks when you get into adulting and you no longer have time for that. But I set aside time more often than not for family and friends and to nurture my relationships.
That's good. That's another issue I struggle on.
Yeah,
because I'm like, family and friends are like, you want to hang out? I'm like, man, I got work to do. I got to make this money.
I'm in the maze. I'm in the trap. Or you're grinding, you're hustling, you're creating. I always respect it. I know. I love you, Johnny. And but it's like
Well, let me ask you this. So you come back, you're back. You say you have a kid. So you have a kid, you meet a great girl, you get married happily ever after?
Oh, I wish. It was kind of like this was a woman, like she was like the first love of my life. And then I left. Like, I remember talking to her before I left, and I was like, listen, I got to go.
Before you left the service? Before you left, go to the service?
Yeah, before I left to go to Japan, I want to say. Like, we met when I was on leave, when I was in Twin Palms, California. I came home on like a Christmas break. We met, talked for a couple months, texted. And then I was like, hey, listen, I was like, we can stop this here and pick it up whenever I get back. Like, I'm sure I'll be back. Maybe, hopefully. I mean, the goal was like, die a hero before you see yourself become a violin. Okay. Shit like that. I never thought I'd make it. That was the goal, eh? I never thought I'd make it to 20, 30. I was just like, well, if I got to go out, I'll go out in a blaze of glory.
Okay, so you wanted a hero's death.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Fucking like old age. It's like I've never been afraid of death, but being fucked up and surviving or living is terrifying to me. Like, I have an aunt who has polio and got her leg chopped off, like her foot 3-4 times. And my grandmother, who was also raised as my aunt, and that's the whole story. I found out like all the dark secrets of my family and shit. It's fucking wild. But my family on my mom's side, like, they were teachers and they helped rehabilitate people with autism, retardations, and struggles. So growing up, I'd have friends that were like deaf or blind or have these disabilities. And it gave me like such a big heart, but then it also gave me like such a big fear, just thinking like, I don't think I'd ever be able to make it like that. Like, how can you do that? That's so much strength. My grandma has the patience, of like Mary, like they would take their time with these people and just nurture, develop it, and care. It's such a beautiful gift. So it's like, that's why when I say I'm always blessed, because I have all these gifts, and when I feel like I'm not using them to my fullest potential, if I could just make somebody smile or happy or make somebody's day, that's what I could do, and then what can I do more than that, like, because there's a lot of pain out there, like sometimes the world is cruel and you got to go with it, and everybody else is going through their own version of it. Like, I made it through mine, and I'll never say my life was hard or difficult. It was my own version of difficulty, but somebody out there would trade their pain and difficulties for mine in a heartbeat. So that automatically makes my life better, and I just got to keep going. There's people out there that need it. I'm going to cheer motherfuckers to fuck up. I'm going to make the world laugh. I'll do it in every way that I can,
That's beautiful, man. That's beautifully put. So you met this girl and you're talking, you get back.
All right, so not the dog and rag on everything, but we fell in love, and then we kind of stayed together. fell in love with another person who had their own demons. And then things kind of broke off. Well,
you know, I understand that statement, but I feel like no matter who we are, we all have our demons.
Yeah, you're right.
Some are different than others.
You're right. Know? I mean, going through what I made through, because like when I had new Marines or something that would come in overseas, and I would try to just explain it the best thing that I could. Like I held on to my relationship, stayed in it, and worked through all the things I had to. But I would tell them, like, leave your girlfriend home, go back and go see her when you get back. Let her live her life. Because seeing, like, when you're a young man, you go around the world, some people will bring their girlfriends, their wives or something. That's a young woman, like, they don't know much. You're taking them out of their element. Next thing you know, they're around a bunch of savages. Mischief ensues. You have to be able to live life and indulge in some of your
some of your wild oats,
some of your carnal nature, you know what I mean, and then make mistakes and overcome them, right? So it's like I don't judge nobody, but you know, some things went on and stuff. But so
you're out now. You're out now. You're with this girl.
Yeah. So then I'm out and I'm with her, and then we get together and we go through ups and downs. We're in and out, and then we have a child, and then we go through some more ups and downs, and then and then I kind of like become a single dad and just put my heart and soul into my kid and tried to develop him, and it shows and it pays off.
Now, I'm not saying this as to like insinuate anything.
No, good.
But the role of a single dad, I feel like that's something you almost like wear proudly, like would prefer to be in a nuclear family. Just from talking to you, and I don't know your inner thoughts, but that single dad, when you talk about it, it sounds like you're revealing your Superman-esque.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to you, like I'm a single dad, and I'm not like ragging on it, but it's like that is like your dream role. It seems like.
Yeah, it's not to see. It's something that I struggle with, is because it's like if it's like talking about my kid. If I was like, oh my God, he's a happy accident or mistake, or like. It's like wanting the dream life with the wholesome family that I didn't grow up with, and then having a child and having separation is just one of the biggest struggles that I had to overcome, and still am always working to overcome, because like my role is not to take away my son's relationship with their mothers or anything, is to develop it. But then I also feel a necessity to kind of shelter them from any type of negativity or like selfishness. And so it's like I know what I grew up with and what I've seen, and those difficult things, like I'll never try to put my kids through. And it's like on one hand, like I mean, it's a never ending cycle to try to help that and work on that. Because a guy asked me the other day, he said, hey, so if you get your kid, you know, what do you want to do? Take them away? And I was like, no, I think that's like an easy route. I think that the more difficult thing is to unite them and nurture it and work on these relationships, like one team, one dream. Like I'm never going to give up. I'm always going to work towards that. I'm not going to just try to outrun and outlive it and not let my kids have that. My love for my kids is like the love that they'll have for their mothers and the rest of their family. Like I wish we could all work together more. And it's like, how can I unite the world if I can't unite my own family? So it's something I've been personally working on, building this foundation. And you know, some sides I'm winning and some sides I'm losing, because I have two kids that I know of. It's one of my favorite things to say. People laugh and chuckle. It's just a fact. It's a funny little fact.
Now, how far apart are your kids?
My oldest is 6 and my youngest turns 4 next month.
Okay, so you broke up with this girl. You're a single dad. When do you? A couple of years later, obviously.
No, we separated, and I went from one.
No. I mean, you had your next kid a couple of years later.
Yeah. But what happened was, so I separated from the one woman, and my son was must have been maybe 2, and then I got with another one, and she got pregnant. Everything I touch gets pregnant. It's kind of a gift and a curse. And then, but we end up having pregnancy, and then it kind of turned a little toxic, and I separated myself from that because I was like, I can't have my son around this. If you're gonna have your explosions and your problems and your issues around the kids, like, hey, it's okay to have that stuff, but like having it around the kids is like a big fucking protective.
I have a question for you. Because I know you can be honest when you're self-reflective too. What role did you play in the breakups as well?
Like how so?
Like what were the toxic or negative traits that you were adding to the relationship?
In my first relationship, I struggled with a lot of jealousy. because going overseas and then like working with like infidelity, being cheated on, stuff like that. And this, like I said, the things that bothered me the most were the things I couldn't deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and it's just, it was combined because it was my love of my life, and then my mother, and then like family, just a lot of family shit. And then
I'm more curious about the second one, because you said she was having explosions of anger and rage, I'm assuming. What, and I'm not like trying to point blame on you, but what were her explosions about?
I mean, like from the outside looking in, because I don't know what it's like to be somebody else. See, something that I also struggled with in my first relationship was I would always say shit like, why can't you do this? This is easy. Mm-hmm. And then it took me a long time to understand that just because something's easy for me doesn't mean it's easy for you. Mm-hmm. We could have the same problem, but depending on how we were raised or grew up, our development is like, that could be crushing to you. And I didn't understand that. Coming out of the Marine Corps, especially early, I was an angry little guy. Like, I mean, I've always been like a loving, caring, but I found a way to kind of weaponize myself to protect myself. And then like, I kind of hated some of the world. Like I looked down on some of the things that I ended up using later on. Like I was like, oh, if you need help or assistance, you're not helping yourself. If I got to take a drug test to get a job, you should be able to. If you're not out there helping pick up garbage and help with relief and disaster, like fucking blah, 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 blah. Like
you were like a lot of these talking heads and bots on like Facebook and social media.
I was a hater. I mean, I was still loving, funny, but I just had like a shittier side to me that it took a while to work out the kinks. Like, listen to podcasts, Joe Rogan and everything else, find out it's kind of like red versus blue. And they use a lot of tools to divide us because, the military, especially the Marine Corps, is one of those ways. You're either military or you're not. You're either a fucking grunt or you're a pogue. You're either ground or you're air. You're either a veteran of war or you're nobody. You're nothing, you know?
Did your relationship with your second baby mom ever get physical?
I never... I was kind of abused and shit physically, but like, because I grew up with domestic violence, like I never put my hands on a woman. Like, I've restrained somebody from trying to get attacked, but it's like one of these malicious lies that they'll come up with, saying like, like you beat me up or you raped me, or it's like the meanest, most hurtful thing that you could say about somebody. And it's like, you have no idea what I've been through and like how, like, it's just how I look on it, how I've dealt with that shit, people that I know in my life that have also been hurt and abused and those things. And so it's like, when I saw all this stuff going on and like separated myself and my son, and then just tried to get us into a safe place and a foundation, and then also like remain in contact. Like I was never running away. And there was a lot of lies and things that were fed to me, but I think it's because she was just hurt and she was in pain. She didn't know how to deal with it. And I understand that, like I looked at it like a spoiled child, like that had a lot more money, but a lot less love and caring and nurture. And I don't know if I was ready at the time to help that either. So if I had to say like my faults and my problems were, I wish I would have been maybe like a kinder, better person and tried to work things through more. Like for me, separating myself, like I said, running away, it was kind of easy. And it's like, but what if I could have did it better? Mm-hmm. And it's like something I'm still working on, because like when I won my first kid, it put this cog in all my relationships now. A lot of the women that I get involved with, like, oh, he took his first kid. He got his first kid. And I was like, I'll take all my kids. I'll take responsibility for all my kids. I don't care how many I have, wherever I have them. And it's like, I take it seriously. And then that fear is like one of the reasons, like I haven't seen my youngest son in a couple months. And because like.
So things are getting dicey again with you and her, I take it?
I mean, it's not so much dicey as there's just like, she's like running and hiding, and I'm trying to just see my son. And like earlier in the year, I went through some more court shit. It's the most draining, fucking soul sucking, goddamn, like it is disgusting. And I hate putting my future in somebody else's hands and a stranger's, and especially going through the system, being abused by some of the system, just always having that fear of like, it's their word against mine. And it's like, I could always be an intimidating person, especially to a female. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I went to jail before with all the evidence. I was like, Your Honor, like, I'm an honorable Marine. Here's all the shit that says I wasn't even there. Like, this is a blatant lie. And they're like, you're going to jail. Like, and then, and then fucking just always knowing that, like, at any time. So then earlier this year, I was making so much more development. I was making so much progress with my youngest son because I saw where he was lacking from what my oldest one has. Like, my oldest one, like, he's like the best parts of me. I love kids because they're so pure and innocent, and they'll tell you the truth. They'll tell you as they see it. They'll give it to you raw. Whether you can handle it or not, that's your issue. That ain't theirs. They're babies. And we're all babies that grew up different. Now I have that perspective.
Today's episode is sponsored by Tenacious Detail, your mobile detailing solution for Pittsburgh and the surrounding area. We know you don't want to go to an uncomfortable office or store and wait while your car is getting worked on. It's hot, it's uncomfortable, it's too cold, it stinks. There's even health and safety reasons. We understand. That's why we come to you. Have your car detailed at the comfort of your home or office. Give us a call today to schedule an appointment at 724-498-9942. Or check us out online at facebook.com/tenaciousdetailpgh. So once you got out, man, where did the job go? What did you do?
Okay, so I got out, and I guess I was trying to find myself. Spent a lot of money, had a good time, was seeking my relationship, trying to fix it, mend it, make it better. I took like 2 years off work just to spend the money that I had, and then collected money and spent that money. And I guess I was just really struggling. I think I went through a lot of depression and a lot of trying to figure out who I am and who I was, because when you transition from the military out to the civilian side, to the civilian sector, like, I remember one of the classes that they put us through was, if I'm not a Marine, who am I? And I was like, yeah, like I felt like I failed. Like, at my job, I didn't help as many people as I could have. I mean, I could go through some highlights, like, hey, what were the highlights of my military career? Inspiring, motivating, maybe people laugh.
I'm more interested to know, like, the after the military career.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah. So I guess I was, I didn't know what to do. And then I remember whenever I would look at different jobs, I dabbled in construction, found out that there's some less quality individuals out there trying to steal people's retirement checks and do poor work. I'm not into that. So I separated myself from jobs that I didn't agree with, or people that I didn't find were going to help fulfill my life. And then going through and having my first kid, and then juggling just more working opportunities at like security companies or data management. I got into some HIPAA stuff with protect people's files, and just jack of all trades, master none, better than master one. And then when I had my first son, I did it all. I did as much as I could by myself, and I wish I could do it differently. Because when they say it takes a village to raise a child, like, that's for real. Like, I was explaining, there's things I can't teach my kid. There's things that I want my kids to learn that I don't want to teach them. There's it takes a safety net, and a lot of my family was like divided. There's not much of us here, and I was too afraid to trust in others, especially with wanting to be the best dad. Hey, if I didn't agree with your ethics or what you did, then I just kind of separated myself from it.
Well, what was it that you didn't want to teach your children?
I would say, like, I always said I want to teach them everything I know without making them go through what I went through. So it's like, how can you make a kid tough without putting them through pain and showing them they can overcome it? How can you show them how to overcome loss and deal with, like, sadness without them losing somebody or something?
And that's tricky too, because you'll never truly understand what that loss feels like until you lose someone.
Yeah. And it's just like, I looked at some of the people that were in my life that were just some of the most, they were like good people that did bad things. I was loved for and cared for by people who did toxic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And they took care of me. Like, I was the child of monsters. And then also the environments and the people that were being looked down upon, frowned upon. And it's like, they took care of me and they loved me. You know, a lot of people kept me from a lot. They tried to shelter me from the world, and that's what gave me this hunger to find out what's outside, what's behind the door. You know, what's behind the curtain.
So, would you say your adjustment to civilian life hindered your ability to, like, I want to say hold down a job, but I feel like that's the wrong word because I don't want to say you were getting fired left and right, but you chose to leave many jobs.
Yeah.
Do you think that was part of the reason?
I don't necessarily think it was like that was my biggest struggle with that life. It was just like, I want to find out who I am. I want to learn as much as I can. If I got to a job and found out like, oh, I learned A, B, and C, and then can I grow in this company? What can I do? And I also had a huge fear and disrespect for organizations because I had gotten out of the biggest gang I'd ever joined. Growing up, I stayed out of a lot of gangs. It's like all my friends, we couldn't hang out at the same place. I had a lot of love in a lot of different areas. Not everybody got along. Something I had to work through. And then so I saw people put their lives towards something and then get out, get kicked out, get forced out, get abandoned almost. And I was just like, oh, I'll never put my faith and trust in that. Like, I'll never put my life towards something. I'd known people growing up that were like a flight pilot. The airline goes out of business. They lose their job. Hey, goodbye. I know people that in the companies that I worked for that had horror stories about their companies going under and then just being back on square one, or putting their life savings into some type of retirement package or plan for that to completely be like, oh, here's just the severance package of a quarter of your salary and we wish you the best. Good fucking bye.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. What do you do nowadays?
So now, you know, kind of
pandemic aside,
without being sued and stuff. No, now I just, in the last, I want to say 2 years, I've had a lot of growth, opportunity, blessings. I've worked on myself and my family. I'm building this strong foundation. 2 years ago, I'm an aspiring comedian. I started hitting the stage, doing some open mics. I found out some pros and cons of that life. You know, like, Johnny, you saved me one day. This was started our relationship. You were there for me in one of my times of need and desperation.
You were down pretty bad one night.
Yeah, I was defeated. I was like, you know, I had a shit night and I didn't deal with it.
Just for context, we were at the Blind Pig. It's a little showcase ran by Alana Lee, and Shane was drunk. And I don't know.
Allegedly.
He was drunk. Yeah, I don't know what transpired before then. Yeah. But I come outside on the porch to them threatening to call the cops on him, the bartender, and I think some regulars and what have you. And Shane just starting to scream, "This is how you're going to treat me? I served my goddamn country."
Oh, it's such an ugly moment.
Yeah, it was rough. He's like, "I just want another beer," and they're like, "No, you're too drunk." And I think drove you to Sports Page or wherever it was, but we got you out of there.
Yeah. So put a little bit more reference into it. Like,
I served my country, and you're not going to give me another beer.
Oh, it was so ugly. It was so ugly.
Because
I survived the first place, and by the time I got to the second place, like, I could carry on a conversation outside, but when I was on stage and have the recording of it, and it was ugly, and it was like I was not there. And then when I went outside, I remember throwing some of my little quips and jabs at one of the ladies there. And I was like, I'm a fucking single mom with a deep voice and you ain't shit. And she took my thing and tried like smacking out my hand. And I was like, oh, and then she took it and then poured it on me. And I was like, oh, this bitch, like, how dare you? Like, and it gets back into like, I'd never fucking hit a woman or put up a fight or anything. And I was like a little humiliated. And then they came out and I was like, I fucking serve my country. How dare you treat me like this? And I was like, at least give me another drink, bitch. Like,
the first time I saw you on stage, you were wearing a gi.
Oh, it was that bandana.
Yes.
One of my Japanese fucking probably meant power or some shit. I love that shit.
And then the next time I saw you were in like a 3-piece suit.
Ooh, I love my suits. So when I was in Japan, I got addicted to 3-pieces. I love some suits, man. I've had tailors out there. They would make you suit. The first one I ever bought was this 3-piece black on black pinstripe. And the second one was like a knockoff Armani cream color. I look like a big baller or a 60s car salesman.
I just saw a picture of myself in a like creamy tan colored 3-piece suit that I took with my family many years ago for Easter.
Yeah.
and this was at like a very high weight.
Mhm.
I looked like I was about to turn into the old Fat Joe or Big Pun when they were wearing suits. I was built like that.
Yeah, hey, big men need suits too. Everybody, if you just put on a suit, it makes you feel good.
It looked like I was a created character on that Def Jam fighting game.
Oh, I love that shit.
It was terrible.
That was so good. It's so good. And yeah, so but I love looking nice and impressionable to impress, because also it seems like whenever I'm out there and I help somebody else and I'm in a 3-piece suit, it's like they smile. It's like they take a lot more love away from it. It's like, look at this person who looks very well put together and successful in helping me hold my umbrella, hold my door, make me smile, say something positive and kind. It's part of the magic, you know.
Now, this isn't taking a shot at you, but I got to push back a little bit.
Go ahead.
Now, what's your stance on comedy right now? Like, I know the end goal.
Oh yeah.
You obviously want to be a comedian.
Yeah, go ahead. Come on, Johnny. Come on now. Give it to me, baby. Why aren't you on the mics?
Yes.
Oh, kids are the best excuse. But I guess part of it's fear, and then also part of it is just the honest work and foundation that I put myself in. One of the biggest flaws of being a single dad and not trusting people is not being able to go out and do the things that you want. Not being able to trust your kid with somebody else puts you in a very predicament where it's like, my friends can say, hey, we want to hang out. And I was like, you got to give me like 3 months notice. I got to find somebody that can watch.
The thing is too, and I hate to be that guy shoving comedy down your throat.
No, please. I need it.
You have a good gimmick, a single dad. You have a wealth of material that's relatable. Mm-hmm. You could definitely gain some type of traction. But as much as I've talked to you about comedy, you don't seem to want to write and then hit mics and work at it. Yeah.
Well, I do. I have a plan. So it's like, as soon as I see, when I'm executing my plan, and it's like, I understand where the love and the frustration from other people can come from. I saw, especially when I got into it, and people were like, who the fuck is this guy? You're nobody, blah, blah, blah. Your confidence is sweet. Your material sucks. And they just, slander you up and down. I was like, I don't give a shit what you think about it.
Yeah, they will do that. Your confidence was through the roof. I'll give you that. They weren't wrong when they said the material was garbage.
Oh, fuck. Somebody loved it. Johnny, art. How can you judge art, my man? But anyways.
However, though, it's a weird situation. I don't know how it's going to be, post-pandemic. But there was a lot of people that felt like, outsiders had to earn their spot, so to speak.
And I'll tell you my fucking view on life. Some positive shit that I heard that I carry on and pass on to others. Try not to give advice unless I know that it works all the way around. Like, stay off fucking sugar, work out your body,
Here's the advice that works all the way around for a comic. Write and hit the mic.
Oh, yeah, no. Believe me, I know. When I was conquering, what I was conquering and developing as I went into the mics is this like the blank mind. Like, I've been writing and revising and get better at it, but also I want to be able to freestyle it. I want it to be, because I can do it naturally and come off the top of my head and make people laugh and do things. And I know I can write a slew of jokes, like a report, and find out what works and fix it. But also, it's like, what if you prepared for that test that day and then you drew a blank mind and you're like, I don't remember what Pythagoras theorem was.
There's not an equal to that as a test, because it's like comedy. Yeah, your material is what you're supposed to use, but as a performer and a comedian, you're supposed to be able to go up there and be funny.
No,
you know what I mean? But like, it's a false equivalency when you're like, oh, if you forget the Pythagorean theorem, it's so much more than just memorizing your material. Get up there. You know what I mean?
No. I believe you.
Get up there.
Do it. Like, I look forward to the work.
And this is coming from a place of encouragement.
No. I completely understand. Believe me. I look forward to the work, and it's kind of like they said, comedians that I've looked up to in the past. Like, last year, my goal was to hit, because I'd done several mics around Pittsburgh, and then to work those through and grind them, to grind that out, and then see, like, all right, you're getting the last spot, 5 drunk comics. How can I fucking work this material? Mm-hmm. I got to gain the respect. How can I gain respect? It's kind of like that. You need job experience, but nobody's going to give you a job.
Unfortunately, though, that's just part of the game.
No, I understand that. Believe me, I
for months I went up to nobody, to some drunks, or to literally 3 other comics that didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's just part of the game, man.
No, believe me, I know.
It's frustrating for all of us, because the thing about comedy, at least from my experience, when you start trying to pursue it in the open mic community, at least in our scene, people treat you like you're not lived a life.
You get it everywhere.
That whole experience, I'm new at comedy. I'm
Yeah.
not new at life. And I didn't like that myself, but it's just part of the game.
No,
our egos get in the way.
I understand.
I deserve to be up sooner,
And all the different jobs that I pursued, whether you go up against like a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year guy, it's like, you're always going to get that. Hey, here's the new person who doesn't know anything. And it's like, he's got great hopes and endeavors. And it's like, I put my life towards this. This is something that I protect, right?
And I hate to interrupt you. I hate to get on a soapbox here, but that's the weird thing about comedy is these people give you these time frames of like, you're not going to be any good till this long in, or you need this much in. There are people in our scene now at 4.5, 5 years, 4 years that are fucking murderers. That I would put, like I've told a couple people, like if you just have the right eyes on you, that's all you need. But then there are other people that are longer, 6, 8, 10 years in, that are fucking open micers essentially. So it's like you got to follow your own path, but every single path leads up to writing and getting on the goddamn mic.
No, believe me, I know that. And that's why I would always tell comedians when they're like, I don't have a stage. And I was like, really? Because I'll go out in the public in the middle of fucking nowhere, jump on a stand, whether it's a grocery store downtown The Point, be like, hey, y'all motherfuckers, I got something to say. People are like, who is this? I'll stop at a bus station.
If I'm being completely frank with you,
okay,
because I love you, brother.
Yeah.
We talk a lot. That's the one thing that bothers me is when you say that statement, because it puts off this passion for stand-up comedy that it sounds good. You know what I mean? Like I'll stand up at a fucking park and tell jokes, but you won't go to a mic.
No, it's like I went to the mics. Then I had the goal to make it out to like LA, Boston, Massachusetts, New York. Want to get out there, compete, hit up some open mics, try to get out there where my favorite heroes and killers were from. And then to be able to travel and do it, because my successes have been traveling around the world, meeting strangers of all places, and having positive experiences.
If it's just for fun and a positive experience, that's fine. But if you want to pursue it, you're not doing nothing but hurting yourself right now. Because it's like you can't, as a baby, you can't run a marathon because you can't barely walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just using that analogy. Just get your fundamentals down.
I understand, and I know that it comes from a place of love. And one thing that worked for me that I try to tell everybody, it's not my business what everybody thinks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like we're all on our own path.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like when I got kicked out of my first place and barred from the one comic place is because, and they're shut down now. Look at us now.
Rest in peace. Contrary to what a lot of people believe, that was a great loss to the community.
I know.
It was devastating.
And like a phoenix from the ashes, another place will rise. Life will go on.
Yeah, that's part of the game. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, for some, more for others than some.
I mean, no matter what, and I actually had this conversation with a comic last night. We were referencing Steve Hofstetter, bringing the Steel City as Fuck community, the comedy program, what he's doing, and all that. And shout out to him for doing that. And people were like, what if my comedy doesn't fit him? What if I don't get on stage? And the club that's no longer there, Burning Bridges, what we're referencing. How Shane just mentioned it's beneficial to some, but others. Worst case scenario with this new organization with Steve Hofstetter and with Burning Bridges, that was still 2 open mics a week that you got to get on stage, even if there was nobody in the audience, and that was quality time to hang around other people that you can learn from and riff off of and form relationships with.
No, yeah, believe me, the opportunity and the relationships that I made, positive or negative, I mean, it's all beneficial because I put it into my basket, my repertoire, my history. And it's like, everybody's on their own path. So it's like, one of the problems that I had was like, I do my best not to judge and try to say like, there's things that I don't know or don't understand. And when I get judged and they open up the floodgates, welcome to the Thunderdome, bitch, let's go. So that's what happened. I had a comedian tell me, like, who are you, whatever, this and that. And what makes you special? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. How long have you been doing this? He's like, 5 years. And I was like, and you're still here. That's wonderful. Like, why haven't you progressed?
I would say, too, don't judge the whole scene off of that one comedian.
I understand that. I take each experience as an individual.
There is a lot of groupthink that aligns with his train of thought as well.
So I put it into my own life and I say, I will meet my success as it comes and make my own way.
Mm-hmm.
And how I get there, that's my path.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have haters being like, hey, you didn't earn it. You didn't deserve it. You didn't do what I did.
Well, no matter what you do, there's going to be people.
That's what I'm saying. That. If you don't got enough haters, get some more.
I've seen a post from a guy that I actually like. I like this little dude. He said what Gabriel Iglesias and Jeff Dunham do is easy and blah, blah, blah. And, he was using that as a comparison to him trying to challenge and write thought for whatever. But it's like, when you say something so fucking stupid and outlandish like that, if what they did was easy, they wouldn't be fucking special. Get your shit together. Not you, that person.
No. I
don't like to reference names on here if I bring up something in a negative manner, because that's not my MO. Yeah. But like, get your shit together.
But it's also, so it's like, I'm not out here shitting on people and what they're doing because it's not my path. It's not my bag. I mean, like, if I know I can say something positive and do that, and like most of the positive shit I say is just not talking shit on people, because there's a lot of that, and I got to separate myself from that, because I was like, oh, you're talking mad shit on these dudes, people that I love, Johnny. It's like, I'm going to be the next person talking shit about, I don't know.
Again, that's another name I'm not going to bring up, but I found out one night that I had beef with someone. You told me that I didn't even know. I go to this event that I'm on, and this person's there before me. They answer the door, greet me. I greet them. Hello, how's it going? Pleasant, whatever. And then pleasant throughout the night. No, nothing. And then come to find out later, you tell me he has severe beef with me. It's like, kid, I don't even know you enough to have beef with you, but I get it. Whatever.
And my goal is always to bridge that relationship to say like, hey, like get over it.
And
work together.
And furthermore, I don't know. I'm not Tommy Tough Nuts. That's just one of the things that annoys me. If I have beef with someone, I'm not going to greet them and be pleasant with them. They're going to know.
I feel like I want to always try to show somebody kindness, love, and respect.
I'm right there with you.
And if I have a problem, I'll explain it or I'll try to talk to you through it. Or if I just want to avoid it and get it out of my life and move past it, don't have time for it.
You can just move on.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, look, this was the issue, and then be blessed. Good luck. Like I don't wish negative or hurt or pain on nobody. Yeah,
no, you're absolutely right, man. And everybody has their own journey. I don't want you to think that I'm coming from a place.
No, I know. It's just like, where are you? Why aren't you doing it?
And
I know the work needs done. Believe me. I take everything.
It's like these fat kids that are 14, 15 years old talking about, I'm going to be in the NFL. No, you're not. You can't run a mile yet.
Yeah. But I mean, like, how's shit on your dream? And then it's like,
I'm not trying to shit on you.
No. I know. Believe me. Hey,
I've told you many times, you have the stage presence. You have the charisma. If you wrote some fucking jokes and worked on it,
I do write them, Johnny. I make people laugh. I am an entertainer, friend. What I'm saying is, what I've worked on that works, and then what I'm working on to see that will work, as I do it and put it on my plan, it's my path. It's like you'll see it develop at your own thing. You're busy in your own life.
Yeah.
You can't keep your microscope on the home and be like, hey, why the fuck isn't this moving? It's like, maybe it's a slow, steady force. And it's like, I always said, I'll see at the top, bitch.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not judging. I'm just like, every time I'm at a mic now, I'm like, oh, Shane's not here.
But it's okay. It's okay because I know it comes from a place of love. Like there's some people out there that say it, that they're just like, fuck that person, comes from a more negative place. The person just needs hugs.
If you told me you wanted to be a chef, I would encourage you to go to culinary school. If you told me you want to be an artist, I'd tell you to get a fucking paintbrush. You told me you want to be a comic. I'm just, you know what I mean?
No, definitely, for sure. Believe me, because I have to go, I got to put in the work. And I've been putting in a lot of work in a lot of areas of my life. Sometimes spread myself too thin and find out, I have to consolidate my thoughts and my shit and get busy. And then, and it's a constant struggle between, it's like a story I heard one time about, a guy that has a wife and a family, and he's not doing so well as a writer, and he just doesn't give up on it, and they go through hell and poverty. And I've been there, like, homeless, hungry, and like things that I'll never put my kids through if I don't have to. I mean, like one time my son says, like, hey, Dad, I'm starving. And I said, son, you don't know what that means. And one day I want to show you. I want to open up your mind. That's one thing my family always did really well, was they gave me perspective. They expanded my mind. They gave me experience. And I got to see, you know, like I've been through my own hardship and bullshit, but it's like I saw much more. I saw real poverty. I saw death. I saw pain. I saw shit that I don't wish on nobody. You know what I mean? It's like, how can I go and help them and do all these things? So it's like in one avenue where it's like I haven't taken the time and got on these mics, and it's like I'm helping a lot of people, and I'm trying to figure out how to help a lot more. And in one way, it's going to be through laughter and love. And I'm working out these little jokes, these little things all along the way. And I'll get my time. I'll take it, seize the moment, because one of the great things I just listened to had me crying. I make these little beautiful inspirational videos, and I want to take it more seriously. Not want to, I'm taking it more seriously, because it's like trying is not doing, right? So you do or you don't. And it's like I have been doing a lot, creating these things and then putting a professional mindset to it, because I know that if I'm not obsessed with it and not taking it seriously, that there's no success. And I'm not upset at it. I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, I'm an aspiring commenter. I don't know why they won't give me 5 minutes. Yeah. And it's like, no, bitch. Like I went to the improv and like I tried to pull out all the fucking magic in the world. And that was a hard fall, brother. I hit the ground, bam. Like it was like, they were like, hey, you have to bring 4 people you know at an open mic at the improv here in Pittsburgh. And I was like, 4 people? I've met motherfucking 15, 20 people on the street, brought them to the show where I was going to get on the open mic. 2 hours pass and I find out I'm the last person on stage. So I told them, hey man, I made y'all laugh. You guys got the best shit out there on the street. I'm going to be here until 1:30 a.m. Like, I love y'all. Be blessed. I'll see you at the top. You know, when you like, I'll never remember shit with names, but I'm good with faces. And then it's like, I was like, I'll do that. I'm a fucking people person. And I went out there and everybody was busy. It was fucking date night. It was family night. It was, I don't give a fuck about the little show night. And I was like, well, got to work on that shit.
Yeah. And then it happens.
And then the second thing was I had 3 good nights in a row, which I consider making progress with a series of jokes. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go spit this same shit. I'm going to do the same rap. And I went up in front of an audience that was like older folks. And I was talking about I'm pro-suicide. And I just didn't have the heart to give it to them, Johnny. So I kind of folded into a little fucking
commit to the bit.
Yeah. Oh, boy, didn't I? And I was just like, oh, I want to be famous. You guys are beautiful. Enjoy your lives. You know, it was so fucking bad. Good.
Oh, that happens. 3, 2, 1. All right. Yeah, no, I dig it, man. So where's Shane today? Where's Shane today? What headspace are you in? How you living?
Oh man, I mean, I'm blessed. I've made and nurtured beautiful relationships that keep on growing.
Okay, for those people that have misjudged you, is the way I'll put it, at your previous open mics, what would you say to them?
Oh, I wish you the best. Like there's nothing that I hold against you. I didn't know, I was being misjudged. It's not about that. It's because it's like their opinions, in some ways they matter to me, right? Like when I get on stage, I want to touch the hearts and minds of people. I want to encourage thought. Sometimes I want them to agree. Sometimes I want them to disagree. Sometimes I say things that I don't agree with because I'm testing my own argument. And I want to bring laughter, love, and an interesting mind. Like we have the last platform as a comedian to say the raw truth, to make it funny. But it's not everybody's bag. Everybody's different. That's why I don't judge others on their art. Your version of art is your own. You'll find your following or you won't. You'll continue it or not. It's not my path. My path is to do what I'm doing and to keep overcoming the difficulties, keep taking advantage of the opportunities and the experience that I have. Like I'm very happy to you, Johnny, and how the universe has blessed me with you to help me one time. And for me, I could show you like, I'll take it to the top, anything that I have, mi casa su casa, brother. Like, and I know that.
No, you've been nothing but kind and generous to me from the day I met you.
And I work on that with everyone because they need that,
What I was hoping, or I guess what I'll say to the people that misjudge the man, he's not a bad guy. Whatever ideas you may have formed in your head about him, throw him out. Meet him. He's a little unconventional. He's a little fucking wacky. He's definitely out there, but I don't think at his heart he's a bad guy. What would you like the people to know? What would you like to put out in the universe?
Yeah, be blessed. Get out there and help somebody. If you're working on your avenues and your art, and in whatever form it may come, do that. don't shit on people and whatever they're doing too, because just follow your own path, make your own way in life. Don't be bitter, sad, or upset. Manifest greatness in your own way. I see at the top, like, we're not on the same path. We're not doing the same things. We don't have the same goals and ambitions. And it's like, do whatever you want to do, just love, grow, and just keep going, keep grinding. I see many people and I'm inspired by them, and I have to remind them in their times of pain, despair, or insecurity that, like, if I respect it and love it and I'll promote it and I'll put it out there. The best thing that I know that I do is network. I could go through and tell you fucking millions of stories of wild, amazing, magical shit that I've been through, that has happened. And I could bitch and complain and tell you some dark shit. There's always that. But it's like one of my best friends, Brad Rainey, best friends in the Marine Corps and brother, inspire, motivator, leader, is getting out. I'll see you fucking in June, my man. They're having a retirement party. But he said, I would have never believed you if I didn't hang out with you.
Okay.
Some of the shit that you say is wild, is a little unbelievable, but it's like I've seen a lot of lies and bullshit growing up, and I don't continue that forward. So express your truth. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Get a little bit weird. I started Comic-Coning. We have the same love for the comic book characters and shit. Be your own hero.
Okay. My question for you, Shane, is we're going to get a little fun here now.
Oh, yeah.
Just for shits and giggles on the podcast, what's your thoughts on Bigfoot?
I fucking learned a lot from Joe Rogan, questions everything, and from what he's talked about it. Like, why not? Like, fucking some big ass fucking primate that's a bad medieval dude. Like, who knows what type of monsters are out there? I think that we dominate a lot of the species, but not to say that there ain't something.
UFOs.
The universe, the multiverse, I believe in fucking an infinite amount of infinites. It's undeniable to be like, we're the only ones.
Ghosts.
Energy can't be created or destroyed. They say it's just transfer, so you never know. But there's a lot of, why don't you see them on the beach or fucking like in happy places? Why aren't there more Caspers up in the motherfucker? Like,
okay. No, that's fair. So you never seen a ghost?
When I was a kid, I thought that I saw, because I grew up with that religious experiences, and then like I thought I saw some angels and some demons. Growing up, when I seen some darkness and some evil, is what I believed and absorbed it to be, and like maybe experimenting and dabbling in certain parts of life. Just think about the energies that are flowing. You never know.
What's your favorite conspiracy theory?
God damn, fucking that Batman can beat Superman? No. You can fuck Lois Lane, but other than that, I don't want to hear kryptonite. No, I don't know. I try not to get down too many rabbit holes. What about you? What's the best juicy? What's the new or old?
I don't know. I always get a kick out of the adrenochrome conspiracy.
What is that?
Where the elites are like mining the adrenochrome out of their glands in children through like fear. I guess they produce it when they're extremely scared or stressed, and that's what keeps these people alive and young. And whatnot.
I don't know if it's
like modern day vampirism, so to speak.
I do believe in a form of that shit. Like you want to say the top, the elites, the people. So it's like they showed that if you take young blood of a mouse and put it into an old mouse, the old mouse will get better and rehabilitate. If you take the old blood of the mouse and put it into the young blood of the mouse, the young mouse will die. Like, it'll suffer. So it's like, do I believe that there's rich motherfuckers out there taking kids and fucking just injecting themselves with fucking youth? Like, oh yeah.
Well, the conspiracy is a little bit darker than that, because it's like they have to die in order for them to get this. It's not like they can just draw it out of their body. These kids die, and like they're farmed and they're prostituted and shit like that. It's a whole thing.
No,
I get a kick out of it because to me, it's like, it's layered with some truths, but there's so much nonsense to it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when I explain it to my kids and everybody else, first of all, another thing I want to say is like, fuck stranger danger in the media and the fucking fear. Like, be a stranger danger ranger. Go out there and meet somebody. Everybody's a stranger till you meet them. So get out there, get weird, find out what makes people tick.
Some strangers that you meet are the last person you ever meet.
Hey, one of my biggest fears is ending up in one of those podunk fucking hills and lies towns.
I'd hate to have to be talking about you as a victim on Murderous States of Mind. Shout out to that with my co-host Dan Brady. We talk about serial killers, and we're going in the order of statehood. So check us out. It's great on all streaming platforms. Pretty fun.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. I've watched my share of, murders people and understand like we're all animals, and some it might be genetic, some it might be like, nurture versus nature.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, fuck. I mean, some of this conspiracies I guess I got into is like working for the government, thinking like fucking 9/11 was an inside job, or sometimes they might not have your best interest. And then being like, I work for those people, like they were telling us, they were giving us briefs. Cause what fascinated me was when I come back home and watch media, fucking dog shit garbage, that's why I love podcasts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's raw nature. There's a lot of shit that's not,
some honesty.
Yeah, for sure. That's why you get to learn somebody. That's why I really appreciate the opportunity.
And like, this is going to be put out on, social media, YouTube and all that. It's going to be public. However, it's not like there's a studio, we're sitting in like a big production and, you have to put on your face. I feel like with this one-on-one, I get a little bit more realness from you.
Yeah.
From anybody.
I apologize if you ever felt like I didn't treat you real. I know. Yeah. No, I do. I love it. And it's like one of the things that I had to overcome was growing up with a lot of shame for shit that I should have never been ashamed of.
You're a dirty boy.
It's struggling. Yeah, we're all fucking, we're all fucking dirty little cretins, aren't we? Lizard brains with,
Hey man, I don't know. The one I'm convinced is that JFK was actually killed by a bullet inadvertently shot from a Secret Service agent in the chaos.
Oh my God.
Like the guy that killed him didn't even realize he fired the gun. Like it was a mistake. I'm convinced of that. Not to sound like a nut job. Do your research, people.
Yeah, no, I've seen you eliminate one of our friends who's a conspiracy nut. And it just with a little bit of research, I was like, don't fuck with the kid.
Check out the moon landing debate with me and Trevor Austin. Shout out to Trevor.
Yeah, shout out to Trevor. It gave me that opportunity that I got a little.
Hey, to be fair, first off, I love Trevor. To be fair, I told him, bring your research, kid.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have somebody who's been saying the same arguments or something and who's been working on that shit versus somebody who really put their heart and mind towards knowledge. Like one thing I love about you when I met you, Johnny, because instantly, like, it's like I got an eye for, I think we were talking about last time, the eye of the shark, trying not to be fucked over, I can notice when somebody's serious about it, and I respected your grind. You were selling T-shirts. You fucking had your social media.
Yeah, check out the merch store, guys. We got dope-ass T-shirts on sale. Help support the podcast and look good doing it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Bring back small businesses, I love watching you grow. I'll promote this. And I knew you were taking it seriously. And everyone else who is on their own path. But I was like, this fucking guy, he's doing it, man. He's out there. He's grinding. And much
comedy
respect.
for me is, and like podcasting as well, is the one thing that like no one can tell me no. No matter how bad I am at stand-up, I can keep working on it. I have control as far as like pursuing it. Like it's different if I want to play in the NBA. That shit's gone for me now. I can't,
Was it ever there, Johnny?
It was there.
It was there.
It was there, guys.
Dude. I have a problem with vertical jumping. But I would box a man out. I like physical games.
I would have been a 6 foot tall power forward.
So, I don't even know what that is. I don't know much about many sports, but I do know fucking UFC and MMA.
Well, anybody out there that knows basketball, I would have been a 6 foot tall power forward and probably closer to 5'10" power forward. But whatever.
I know shoot the J, fucking block, fucking alley oop. Okay. Allen Iverson between the legs. I know Michael Jordan like a motherfucker. Scottie Pippen. I had some greats in my room hung up.
Okay, that's fair. No, thank you for coming on, man. I really enjoyed this. I hope people that listen to this get to know you a little bit better. Anything, and I just say this to everybody, anything you want to promote, anything you want to put out there, if you want to follow it on social media, shout it out.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm getting better at this, trying to figure out how to promote myself and stuff. So I have Shane C Comedy. You can check it out on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Consolidating that name and then my last name as well, and just create more opportunity for people to get eyes on, but also got to develop the material, put the hard work in. I put 7 videos on YouTube to show my my behind the fucking scenes, the growing, because it's like one of the favorite things I love growing up watching is I've seen the start of comedy and I've seen the finished product.
It's that middle that's a motherfucker.
And it's the middle that I'm working my way to and through. So it's like when I get to where I'm going and a much more well-balanced, polished person, and then fucking it's like, hey, here's some videos to show you like boy, I had all the confidence in the world, but you start to shit sometimes, boy. And I want people to see that, because that opens up that window, that transparency, leaves yourself vulnerable, but it's the only way to grow, you know.
Absolutely wise words. Hey guys, thanks for listening. I'm Johnny Smith, your host as usual. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, anything like that. Check out the YouTube channel. Anything a review helps. We're just trying to grow here, folks. But that's all for me. Peace and love.